The following is a presentation of TFNN. Time to talk about your health. Living a primal lifestyle.
You know, we have Tom from Tampa on the phone. Hey, Tom. Good morning. It's bright and early now, huh?
Hey, Paige. Good.
Hi, Tom.
How you guys doing, Nico?
Doing great.
Good. Hey, your newsletter's outstanding, man. I'm telling you, man, it is outstanding. And so is the Primal Edge. I love that stuff. I'd never be without it. I mean, I've been on it now 3-4 months, man. I mean, it's just, I can't get over how good I feel.
Primal Edge is, people are raving about it. People who are trying it, they know because you can feel it.
Would not be without it.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now your hosts, Nico and Haan and Paige Clarke.
Good morning. I'm Nico and Haan, and welcome to Living a Primal Lifestyle, where we explore a return to a more balanced, natural, wild world.
To recover our natural health, our rights, and our freedoms. And I'm Paige Clarke. Good morning.
And it's a beautiful day in downtown Clearwater, 62 degrees. Looks like we're about at the high of the day. It's going to get cooler as it goes, but of course we're having much nicer weather than you are up north in the Northeast. It's
yeah, we're not complaining.
No.
Yeah,
although I do love snow days. That probably has to do with me going to school and not, the snow
I had
days.
a rainy day in Monday yesterday. It was rainy yesterday, and kind of used it to get a lot of things straight at the office and at home, so it was kind of good.
Yeah.
So please subscribe to our newsletter, our Health Signals newsletter. Good stuff. Available to you, $10 a month, gets you 2 issues. And Nico has got a great issue out on Are You Feeling Lucky?
Yeah, it's a
St.
really
Patrick's
story
Week.
about my dad.
It's a beautiful story.
Yeah, it's nice to have positive people in your life, and I certainly am lucky that way.
Yes, you are. And it really showed how your dad created a positive, good things happen to you when you think good things.
Yeah, and this was his philosophy all through life, and I guess I must have picked up on it because that's what I've always thought too. And I think that's just kind of the way it works. You're brought up in that environment, and you go to those things that work for you.
Yeah, that's really good.
And, I remember we were immigrants. We moved from Holland in the early 50s, right after World War II, because my dad wanted to get out of Europe. He thought not good things are going to happen there. And the countries that were available were really Australia and Canada and the United States. And the United States, we really needed to be sponsored to get in.
Yes.
And so Canada was offering jobs and housing, even though when my dad got there was no jobs and no housing. But, he's smart enough to find
He figured
those
it out.
things. Yeah. So, it was traumatic. I don't know what the point was of me saying
Well,
that.
the point is, get the Health Signals newsletter and read that great article, along with other things that we put in there.
My dad's story. That's
Yes, good stuff. And also, make sure you pick up some of the Primal Edge.
Yeah, that's for sure. And you can reach us, of course, at nico@tfnn.com.
And Paige at TFNN.com.
And we're taking your phone calls at 877-927-6648. So when it comes to health and nutrition, we've all heard the phrases that you are what you eat, and you always answer me with that phrase.
You are what you disinfect and digest.
Yes.
And absorb.
Absorb. And
That's
that's
right.
the point of what we're going to talk about, because no matter how healthy your diet is, if your body's incapable of absorbing the precious nutrients, they'll be going right down the drain.
And we're really going to cover a lot of background today because we're going to have a special guest on Thursday, Dr. George Springer from LifeWorks Wellness Center. He's a physician along with Dr. Minkoff, who we've had on the show. Mm-hmm. We feel thrilled to have these gentlemen, their whole staff, very knowledgeable staff, just right around the corner, literally. And
sure.
we can get them here early in the morning. So we'll be able to, we want to cover a little background on gut health and nutritional absorption. And make sure you tune in on Thursday. He's very delightful.
Yeah. So what happens is, of course, we want to absorb these nutrients, and there's a couple of reasons for this. First of all, we want to be healthy, and the other thing, and the impacts of the food that we pick. We're going to health food stores. We're trying to find the best food we can, but then if our body can't absorb it, we're kind of wasting our money, and we'd be better off financially if we were just on the sad American diet. But that's not what we want.
That's not what we need. You're exactly right. So when you take that time to select this and prepare these healthy meals, you want to make sure that you're creating as you're bringing the external environment into your body, that your internal environment is able to utilize these nutrients. Mm-hmm. And so the question is, do you have poor digestion? Surprisingly, many of us are not aware of the state of our digestive health.
Yeah.
And what we're finding, and we're going to learn a lot more from Dr. Springer, is that really we're finding the gut connection title of his new book, is it's really the missing puzzle to the mystery of where so many chronic illnesses.
Yeah,
comes back to the gut.
Yeah, and it really does start with that. And one of the things, one of probably the most important factors in absorption is the enzymes that help us absorb all these nutrients.
You are so right.
Because we don't, it's not like magically we get it in our stomach and everything goes along fine and boom, all of a sudden we have all the nutrients we have. That's not the way it works. We have to have a symbiotic relationship with all the things that are going on in the intestines and the colon and the
stomach. We have to have the power to do work. And what are enzymes? Enzymes are the power to do work. And I like to explain to people, they can tell me all these foods they're taking, or they'll come in with their bag full of supplements. What good does it do if you aren't secreting adequate enzymes to do the work with the food to make the cofactors, so that, to take the cofactors and the nutrients and make the things that you need.
Yeah.
So one of the most important factors in nutrient absorption, as Nico just said, is enzymes. And the primary purpose of digestive enzymes is to break the chemical bonds in fats, carbohydrates, and proteins, turning these compounds into microscopic substances that can be used at the cellular level.
Yeah, without these enzymes, nutrients remain locked in the food and never reach the cells that really need them.
That's so crucial. And as you know, just another shameless plug for the Primal Edge. One of the reasons that we built this as a living one-shot wonder is that we know that the fulvic acid compounds impact enzyme activity. So there you go.
So although our bodies exhibit a lot of warning signs of the
Malabsorption.
Yeah, we want to kind of identify what these signs are. So if you have some of these signs, now you can start the investigation process.
Yeah, because a lot of people just kind of exist and they ignore these very subtle warning signs. So we're going to cover some of these warning signs so you can start to be conscious of it and maybe start taking some action.
So here's some of the symptoms, and if you have any of these symptoms, this is a clear indication that you're not digesting things. First thing is bloating. Oh, that makes sense. There's a lot of activity going on in there, but it doesn't seem to be shrinking, so you're probably not absorbing it.
Excessive gas is another one.
Yes.
Or loud gurgling intestines, and that's interesting because a lot of people interpret this really loud gurgling as a sign that, things are working, but when it's excessive, that's kind of an indication of some distress.
Yeah, probably right. And heartburn, of course, and or acid reflux. Kind of two different things, but probably the same thing maybe going on. And the last thing is that feeling full for hours after a meal. So if you're actually, your stomach is expanded and you have that full feeling, but you may be low in energy, you're not absorbing these things. The things are stuck there.
It's staying in a state of dysbiosis.
Yeah.
That's a really great thing.
And then some of the gases that might be coming off of that would be the kind of gases you really don't want.
Exactly.
Because things might be rotting in there. They're kind of...
As we're going to learn, heartburn and acid reflux is not a sign of too much acid, folks. It's a sign of too little stomach acid. Completely opposite. We always say if you want to be healthy, do a 180 from what you're told.
Yeah, well, it can be either one, I think.
Yeah, but for the most part, it's a type of acid. It's the wrong kind of acid.
Right. We'll be right back, folks. Just enough time to pick up the Health Signals newsletter. $10 a month gets it to your door twice a month on the first and third Tuesday of every month. Of course, our wonderful Primal Edge One Shot Wonder. Please pick that up. The number here is 877-927-6648, and we're going to be talking about absorption of the nutrients when we get back. You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com. platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Are China A-shares hot or not? If you trade China A-shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A-share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A-shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Nico and Paige take your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Welcome back. Today we're talking about the gut connection in preparation for having Dr. George Springer on our show on Thursday. What exactly is involved in absorbing nutrients, and what are the key factors, 5 maybe, that actually compromise our nutrient absorption?
Yeah.
You know, it really begins at the moment that food enters your mouth. Literally, the act of salivation is important. The amylase, the enzyme that's released in the mouth. If you start shoving it, you don't actually start working on your digestion at your mouth.
Yeah, remember the last show we were talking about babies absorbing things, and when they get off the bottle or the breast, as it were, then they can't go right to solid food. And what our ancestors used to do is chew this for them, and that way the bacteria that the mother has is passed on.
Not just the bacteria, but the enzymes, the amylase.
Yeah, amylase.
One of the main reasons that it's crazy that parents are feeding their kids cereal as their first food, they don't make amylase. That's the enzyme that breaks down grains. So we wonder why we see all these really bloated little kids. It's sad. So number 1, we actually put in a 1A there, saliva, but we talk about when the food hits the stomach. Low stomach acid really interferes with the nutrient absorption, folks. Hyperchlorhydria, which is low stomach acid, isn't a term you often hear, even though it is quite common and a prevalent cause of nutrient malabsorption. So when we suffer from heartburn, indigestion, acid reflux, and excessive gas, we often look to acid reducers. That's what the television would tell you you're supposed to do. The fault in this approach is that the symptoms of low acid are nearly identical to those of excessive stomach acid. As I mentioned to you, the majority of them, of the cases, are actually low stomach acid.
Yeah, and the solution is pretty simple, but and we've gone over that many times, but you never hear the commercial for that solution. You only hear the commercial for those acid reducers.
Yes, and when you reduce the acid in your stomach, you're interfering with that nutrient absorption. We've talked about this on the show. That stomach needs to be a pH of around 2.
Yeah, and if you have that frame of mind that you have too much acid and you keep taking that, then you're going to really cause more, and so it's going to compound. Not only are you not solving the problem of not having enough acid or too much, whichever the case is, you're actually stopping the whole process.
You're interfering with the digestion. The food needs to be broken down in that acid bath in the stomach before it goes on down to the next spike, which is... Go ahead.
Leaky gut syndrome, that's something I had most of my life. And the symptoms for these are gas and bloating, candida overgrowth, constipation or diarrhea, allergies and food intolerances. Just basically not feeling good. And really what this is, leaky gut syndrome, is actually the food that's not being absorbed is allowed to pass through the stomach lining into the bloodstream, and now your body has a heck of a time.
It actually happens in the small bowel. It didn't get digested in the stomach. When it goes
in
through,
the small intestines.
When it goes in the small intestine, it gets into the digestive tract, those
part.
junctions in the intestinal lining.
Right.
It's crazy. If we're not getting it right at the stomach, then it's going to impact us down there.
Right.
And, when our guts become leaky, not only do we not get enough nutrients, we also run the risk of chronic inflammation. Have you heard that inflammation is actually the silent killer? The unknown smoldering situation that's usually present for years, maybe silently, and later leads to more troubling health problems.
Yeah, this is the whole syndrome that we often talk about, that for 30 years you're not absorbing things, and then all of a sudden the symptoms, real symptoms that seem to have nothing to do with what's going on in your body, start showing up. And now you have a bunch of different physicians or doctors or people that you go to, and they're giving you all these little things to stop these symptoms, but the cure is never really gotten to at all. There's no sense behind it. And it's just really simply because of the toxins in our food. And some of them are natural, as we've discussed, the grains and the beans and all those things, starches. And some of them, of course, we put them in here when we process the food.
Now here's something that, I look forward to discussing with Dr. Springer and debating with him a little bit, because this article mentions when the intestinal barrier thins and the immune system can no longer recognize itself from harmful bacteria, virus, that's making the suggestion of autoimmunity, and we keep hearing autoimmune diseases. I'm going to argue a little bit, and there's many people that support the same thing. There is really no such thing as autoimmune. All of these things are real. The body is not dumb. It is not recognizing itself. This is my opinion. There is a pathogen there. So it's a very subtle difference. You hear what I'm saying? We're making it sound like, the body's lost control and it's attacking itself. No, the body is very smart, and it knows that there's pathogens, fungi, viruses, bacteria, that are there, and they will ultimately result in all these diseases, IBS, Crohn's, arthritis, fibromyalgia,
Well, they keep lumping more and more things in this chronic fatigue syndrome. It's all these are functions of the
poor
immune
digestion.
system, but it's caused by the poor digestion. There's no doubt about it. And they make up all these things through symptoms. Remember, and that's why we have these drugs to treat the symptoms. Without naming a particular disease, we can't put a tag on it and say, okay, we're going to cure that symptom. And that's really, modern disease is really trying to do that, trying to get rid of the symptoms, and we're not going deeper
to the
find
root problem, which is...
And it's a very profitable thing. Imagine all these people that have to take all these drugs on a continuous basis, and they never get better. It's kind of a dream scenario
for the pharmaceutical companies.
And I'm sure that the companies themselves and the researchers in there aren't trying to do this.
Of course
but
not.
what they are doing, they're limiting their education of why these things are happening. And that is, I really do believe, our universities used to be doing all the work, and now they get grants for specific work from these companies, and that's what drives they're not getting the answer because they're not looking for the answer.
Well, this is it, guys. The good news is that once the intestinal barrier function is restored, inflammation is reduced, and these mystery diseases can start to resolve themselves and reverse. Yeah, exactly. So number 3 is the small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, or SIBO.
SIBO.
And that's really the situation. So it's really interesting. Think about the chain of events. If you don't digest your food in your stomach, if you don't disinfect it in the stomach, if it isn't properly packaged, broken down at that point of the digestive process, when it reaches the small intestine,
and this is where the fats and the proteins get absorbed, the small intestines.
Well, this is where most of the nutrient absorption is done, in the small intestine. And if you haven't disinfected it because you have poor stomach acid, then you're going to introduce bacteria back. In fact, the small intestine is typically very, very clean environment, not supposed to be having these bacteria and viruses. It says when bacterium is naturally present in the digestive tract in a healthy body, the small intestine contains relatively low levels. In the case of small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, there are high concentrations of bacteria and that are found there. And this can affect the structure and function of your small bowel. And it can interfere with digestion and absorption and cause these serious health issues.
Another thing I'm thinking, too, of course, if your fats and your proteins are not being digested or absorbed in the small intestines, we have other things moving through. All that plant food is also moving through and maybe being obstructed because there is no absorption there. And then for the large colon, which absorbs those things, they're never getting to that part. Because it's kind of stuck in.
Yeah, it kind of goes back to the beginning. Start thinking about your food. Let your saliva start doing, because that's where you start working on the carbs. We got to work on the whole chain, and we'll be right back after this break.
Would like to tell you about the personal training studio that Nico is the owner and president of, Performance Training. Since 1998, Nico has trained individuals and groups to improve their health both mentally and physically. As a certified personal trainer, Nico's main focus is on demonstrating exercises correctly to avoid injury and teaching his clients how to manage their past injuries while getting the most out of their personal training sessions. The Performance Training Studio is filled with unique training equipment that enhances balanced results at a faster rate while minimizing damage and discomfort. For more information, you can give Nico a call at 727-418-8740 or email him at nico@tfnn.com. Let him know you heard him on TFNN and save up to $100 on a special package just for TFNN listeners. Act today.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com.
Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back, folks. The number here is 877-927-6648, and we're going over the 5 factors that compromise your nutrient absorption. So number 1 being low stomach acid, number 2 being leaky gut syndrome, number 3 is the small intestine bacteria overgrowth, and number 4 is the excess alcohol consumption. And of course, there's a lot of news about what is excess and what isn't. Of course, if you're an alcoholic, 1 drop is too much. And some people do have that disease.
And we see a lot of alcoholics and up having B vitamin deficiencies.
Sure.
Because they're not getting the minerals to make the Bs.
And they say men 2 drinks a day, women 1 drink a day. I'm not sure if that's too much or too little. Myself, if I have it every day, I don't feel quite the same. So for me, 2 or 3 times a week is enough. And usually 1 or 2 drinks. If I have 3, it feels different for me. And I probably switch over into, burning carbohydrates instead.
Yeah, but excess alcohol does damage the cells lining the stomach and intestines, and it makes it harder for you to absorb your nutrients, especially zinc and folate.
Yeah, which are 2 important ones. And that, of course, has to do with the bloodstream, and that's where the alcohol ends up. So we still don't know really what, I think it must be different for everybody. That's the only thing I can conclude, because I do pretty well if I have a couple of drinks and have some food. But if it's closer, like at night, then I have trouble sleeping, so it does affect me for sure. And, I think the better the alcohol, the better it is for you too. So the higher premium brands, the single malt scotches, the vodkas and things like that, there's lots of good products out there that I would even determine some are medicinal on a certain level.
Well, yeah, we know that the bartender was actually a remedy maker, in years past. And many of the bitters and products of the cocktailing were actually very beneficial.
Yeah, in fact, you go to a bartender and say, I've got stomachache, and he usually can fix you up.
That's right. Okay. Number 5 is consumption of anti-nutrients. We've talked about these a lot. Anti-nutrients are compounds. They can either be synthetic or natural that interfere with the absorption of nutrients from our food or supplements when they're consumed at the same time. And here are 3 key anti-nutrients, what they do and where they're found.
Yeah, the first one being phytic acid, and this is the anti-nutrient that is found in all edible seeds, grains, legumes, roots, and tubers, and nuts also contain different quantities of these.
The problem with them is they interfere with our absorbing our nutrients. They bind the nutrients. So we used to say if you're eating white is not all right. So people that eat a lot of white things, white bread, white pasta, white rice, they're going to have a mineral deficiency. Number one sign, if you have a grain-based diet, you're probably going to be deficient in magnesium. I just wanted to inject that.
Cool. One of the problems is that it significantly reduces the essential mineral absorption. So, for example, phytic acid prevents the uptake from phosphorus, calcium, copper, iron, magnesium, and zinc. Phytic acid also inhibits essential digestive enzymes.
Amylase, trypsin, and pepsin. So these are remember amylase as the enzyme that starts in the mouth and the saliva to break down the carbs. And, the trypsin and pepsin are generated in the stomach. So as you can see, an overabundance of grain-based diet can really be an impactor on your ability to digest it.
Yeah, and this is why the number one reason for eliminating these foods from the paleo diet is because of this one thing, not so much the gluten, the other thing. But the gluten is a problem, and a lot of people have problems with it. And remember, gluten, just look at the word, it's glue.
I know, yeah. It's like paper mache.
Yes.
You add water and flour, and you get a hard substance.
Yep.
And as we know, it's found in wheat, barley, and rye. And it often causes severe gastrointestinal distress to millions of people. And it is actually, they're calling it the ultimate anti-nutrient.
Yeah, they say about 57% of people have a dysfunction with gluten.
Even if you don't test for celiac disease, it doesn't mean that you're not gluten intolerant. And we've explored this subject completely on this show. We also know that it may not just be the strain of gluten that we now have, the hybridization of gluten that's changed the plant, but we know even further, and if you're following me on Facebook, I post a lot of Dr. Stephanie Seneff's work from MIT. It's the pesticides that the harvesters of wheat products are spraying on their wheat crops is inhibiting enzyme reactions in the body.
I would say also because of the storage factor, these grains have mold and mildew.
Oh, they're loaded with aflatoxins and molds and so forth.
And I'm sure it's hard to keep the rats out of those silos, and they're in there eating those things and pooping all over the place. So grains, not a good thing to do, for sure.
Yeah, or to make sure, as we say, there's a yes you can. If you properly source them and properly prepare them, and we do a lot to teach you how to do that. Here's another enzyme inhibitor or phytic acid type of situation that inhibits things. It's the oxalates.
Yes.
And the oxalates are naturally occurring molecules found in plants and humans, and it's usually rarely a problem, but if the digestive tract does not contain enough healthy bacteria to break down oxalates, it can become a problem. And these can reach other parts of the body and create chronic pain and autoimmune conditions, which is another way of saying the body is picking up something in your body that's not supposed to be there.
Yeah. And these are found in the highest qualities in black and brown millet and sesame seeds and soybeans. Probably one of the reasons that the Japanese figured out many, many eons ago that to make the miso and things like that, they have to do a lot of breakdown of the soy.
Here's another example of the yes, you can.
Yes.
Soybeans are kind of estrogenic.
Yes.
And in this country, they're GMO, genetically modified, and they're not prepared properly. Yes, the Oriental people eat a lot of soybeans, but they properly prepare them. They're not GMO, and they're fermented.
Yeah, usually 4, 5, 6, 8, 10 years, depending on the product.
Exactly. So we're not eating the same food. So when you go to your restaurant and you eat your edamame beans, I don't think that's a good idea. I think you're going to find it's tough on your digestion.
Yeah.
So
healing our damaged guts and achieving maximum nutrient absorption is our primary goal because it has the potential to fix almost every other disease and condition that we have. And so this is really the reason why we're on the primal type of diet, because we eliminate these foods, we eliminate these problems, these particular what they call what do we call these things? Just things that interfere with our digestive systems.
Nutrient absorption inhibitors.
Yeah, we want food that's absorbed readily and that we get the nutrients from, and boom, it's done. We don't have to worry about anything else.
As we're going to find out on Thursday from Dr. George Springer, we're going to be talking about the gut connection and how it's really the missing link in many mysterious illnesses. And as here we go, healing our damaged guts and achieving maximum nutrient absorption is our primary goal. Right. Because it has the potential to fix almost every other disease and condition we're seeing. This is the huge connection we're seeing. If you have, I listen to some people that say, I have this, I have that. Well, let's go backwards and figure out how did you get this or that. Right. And so when we come back, we're going to talk about, now that we've talked about nutrient depletion and the 5 key factors that compromise your absorption, we're going to talk about 6 specific ways you can boost your nutrient absorption, and we're going to give you the tips, tools, and techniques to do that.
We sure are. In the meantime, you can fix a lot of things by just picking up the Primal Edge. $89 will get you to your door every single month, and this is the one-shot wonder. Fulvic and humic acids are nature's preferred delivery system, essential for your natural health and wellness. Pick that up today, folks, and we'll be right back.
Right back.
You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
Welcome back. We're talking to you today about healthy gut, and the gut connection to being healthy is that you need to absorb your nutrients and you need to get rid of the things that are hurting you from that. But maybe there are some things you can do to help you get better absorption. And let's talk about some of these nutrient boosters, and the number one being betaine HCl.
Hydrochloric acid.
Mm-hmm.
Low stomach acid is a common cause of the gastrointestinal health and malnutrition. We talk about this all the time. People with acid reflux, people with heartburn, and they take the over-the-counter the pink stuff or the blue stuff.
Right,
or
the purple pill.
Yeah, and everybody that I've switched over to using the HCl with the betaine and using it correctly has pretty much solved the problem. I'm always shocked to find out that 99% of the stuff is actually low stomach acid instead of the high stomach acid.
That's exactly right, Nico. We said it earlier, and we'll say it again. Many people are having those symptoms because what's happening, and this is not such a pretty picture, but I think it's an important picture.
Okay.
If you have low stomach acid and yet you're having acid reflux, that is not too much stomach acid. It's low stomach acid, and your food is actually fermenting. That's kind of gross. So what's bubbling up is a different form of acid called lactic acid. This is not what we want.
And it's actually splashing against your esophagus.
Yes, above that flap, and that's why we've got...
And the food is below that, so the food is there.
Well, it's all creating a fermentation.
Yeah,
Think about a beer.
The acid comes, yep,
and the gases are coming up, and the acid. So what you want to do is make sure you restore your normal stomach acid so you can cleave the minerals and nutrients from your food. And let's talk about how you can implement taking betaine HCl. You're much better off carrying some betaine HCl capsules with you instead of that purple pill. So let's talk about one of the suggested ways.
So you can see the
let's
whole
put this
thing.
in the newsletter.
It will be in the next newsletter.
Yeah.
It goes in about once a year. So you eat a meal that contains at least 15 to 20 grams of high-quality protein, grass-fed meat, moistured pork,
wild
pastured
fish,
pork.
pastured animal foods, as you know we always recommend.
So then you take one pill. They suggest 650 milligrams or less. They make them in all different sizes at the beginning of the meal. After you finish your meal, you observe your body for any changes in the feeling in the stomach and the belly button area.
Yeah, right around the belly button is an area where you'll feel the symptoms.
You feel heaviness, hotness, burning, or other GI distress. The current dosage may be too high, or it may just not be, or might be just enough. Mm-hmm. So try the same dosage, observe again.
So it's like anything else. Take responsibility for your own health. Pay attention to what you're feeling. Mm-hmm. And if you don't notice any sensation after taking that one pill after a meal, then the next day, increase. And if you still notice no symptoms, try 3 pills. So in other words, you're using your own body's biofeedback. Mm-hmm. Once you start to feel a little warm, maybe a little uncomfortable, then you know you need to back down to a lesser dosage.
Yeah.
And then continue that for some time. This article suggests you may be able to taper off of the supplements after your own digestive fire is restored.
Yeah, what you can do then, and what happened with my wife, she was taking like 4 or 5 pills, and then slowly it was going down after a few months, and now she just takes it with each meal, just a 250. What I do is I take a 650 in the morning. I'm good all day. I really do believe that all of us probably have the low stomach acid syndrome.
Well, there's no doubt that as we get older, and any of us over 40, we really do. And then that really puts us at risk, folks, especially if we're traveling and we're eating meals out.
Yeah.
Remember, HCl is a big part of the disinfection thing. So I always say we're not just what we digest or absorb, we're what we can disinfect too. And if we don't disinfect, then those bacteria are going to get introduced.
Yeah, so I would recommend people that, make this part of your daily supplement. Explore this whole thing. If you have heartburn, definitely use the thing, and if anybody can't read this off the telestrator, just send me a line. I'll send
It'll be
it
interesting to see what Dr. Springer talks about on Thursday, because this is a huge issue that I know he sees all the time, and we'll be interested in getting his clinical pearls when he's here on Thursday. Nutrient booster number 2 is organic apple cider vinegar with the mother.
Yeah.
So you got to have that cloudy stuff. That's the probiotic part of it. And it's actually considered to be a gentler alternative to betaine HCl.
Yep.
Kind of goes back to the same idea of bartenders and bitters,
Exactly.
creating that bitter taste, that sour taste.
And that will alkaline your body because
But
of
it's
the
rich
shock
in
of it.
proteins, enzymes, and
it's great.
probiotics.
And you do kind of the same thing. You take 1 teaspoon. If you're not feeling quite right, the next day you take 2 or 3, and you go along with that line. So important stuff, and it really does work. And I know you take it every morning.
I take both.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to suggest, I want to share this because Nico knows I've been talking about it. From about October, November, I was doing a lot of traveling. You know that. I was gone a lot. And I kind of got a little slack on both of these things and eating in a lot of restaurants. And I have had some stomach symptoms, never have had them that I can remember, and have been really working on reboosting myself with my HCl and my apple cider vinegar. But it's very important because some of these bacteria can really lead to worse problems if they go unattached. We're going to talk about that with Dr. Springer. And nutrient booster number 3 are probiotics. And many people who are living with inflammatory bowel disease that results from a lot of these things that we've talked about, irritable bowel syndrome, etc., they will struggle with nutrient absorption, and maybe some of these probiotics can actually help. They are the good gut bacteria that help heal leaky gut syndrome and ease inflammation and improve nutrient uptake from food.
Yeah, and because of the way our society lets us grow up, by not being on the mother's breast long enough, by your mother not chewing the food for you, we don't have the enzymes in there. Pretty much probably everybody is in this situation. So that's why probiotics are so essential, and that's why everybody's on them now.
And I have a very interesting article I've put into our plan today that I do want to cover about a product that, and this researcher is doing a lot of research on why probiotics might be monoculture, just like monoculture agriculture.
Oh.
And so we're going to talk about that whole concept. I can't wait to kind of explore that.
Nutrient booster number 4 is eat your vegetables with healthy fat. And I would say saturated fat would be a good way to go with your vegetables.
Well, of course, we need all of these, but we agree, nothing better than some greens with butter on them or some greens with some bacon, good things. But this is mainstream nutritional advice often leaves out this very critical information. How we combine our food is just as important as the food we're eating.
Yeah, and I remember in the old days with vegetables, there was always a pat of butter on the vegetables.
Well, yeah, but then we went through this stage where we were fearful of butter.
Spraying pan on it or something.
These plastic fats. So these minerals that we want to get from these greens, that's the whole reason we're eating them. You can't use them unless you have fats. And one example of healthy food combining is eating vegetables with, say, butter on them. And in order for us to actually get the fat-soluble nutrients of vitamin A, D, E, and K, and also some of those, we've been talking about these phytochemicals like curcumin and lycopene and zeaxanthin. These are all fat-soluble super antioxidants. You can't get them without having a healthy fat.
And there's 2 other natural boosters. One is limit your liquid with the meals. so drink it after the meals. And the other one is slow down and chew your food well. And,
Starting back with that amylase at the beginning.
So those are the 6 things that really can enhance your digestion, your absorption
and
of the nutrients.
turn off the news, folks.
That's a good way
how many
for
of
sure,
us, I studied with Dr. Loomis Institute. One of the main things they say is turn off the news. If you're going to listen to something stressful, just don't bother eating.
Good advice.
Yeah. So we'll be right back, and make sure you pick up our Health Signals newsletter and stay connected with all the great information we're giving you each and every month.
We'll be right back, folks.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge, heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
TFNN has just launched a special event in Tampa with Tom O'Brien taking place March 18th, sponsored by Nadex. Tom O'Brien will be presenting 2 workshops for a combined 2.5 hours of education, bisecting and dissecting his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System. March 18th kicks off with a continental breakfast as we get everyone checked in, and that is followed by 2 75-minute workshops with Tom O'Brien. The first workshop from 8:45 until 10 a.m. will cover quality volume, cause and effect, and ABC structures, and the second workshop from 10:15 until 11:30 a.m. will cover swing points, testing, and the Tiger Gartley. Tom will then wrap things up with a question and answer session, which will be followed by a Tiger Luncheon Social on the rooftop of the Westin Hotel. The best part is that it's all free, but you must register to attend. Visit the front page of TFNN.com for all the details and to sign up today, and we hope to see you in Tampa on March 18th.
No matter where you're listening to TFNN programming, you can always access your favorite shows on demand through TFNN.com. TFNN airs live programming every market day from 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. Eastern, and you can view each program by accessing Tiger TV through our homepage. We even have an easy link for all mobile devices, including iPhones, iPads, and Android devices, located in the top right-hand corner of the TFNN homepage. You can use your smartphone to view Tiger TV, but if you don't have a connection that can keep up with streaming live video, then you can simply visit TFNN.mobi in the browser of your smartphone for live streaming audio of all our programs. The mission of TFNN is to educate our audience directly and interactively through our interactive website and call-in talk shows. TFNN is able to teach all levels of investors the technical skills needed to trade in today's marketplace. In order to get the best information possible, TFNN has assembled the most respected financial minds in the country to provide the most current news and comprehensive advice available. TFNN.com. Educating investors. Join John Logan as he teaches you trading techniques utilizing the TAS Profile Scanner. The Global Market Pulse, next on TFNN.
Welcome back to the show, folks. We have a great product here, the Primal Edge, which really will help you with a lot of these problems and set you up right to start the day. But there are other products out there, and we just want to mention that...
Well, I want to talk about Restore, because Restore isn't a probiotic, but how is it actually improving gut health? Because there's a lot of research behind it. And what I really love is when I found Restore, first of all, Dr. Zach Bush is at the University of Virginia, and that's where my family's from. Okay. So I kind of liked him right away. And he's a really sharp guy. But Restore actually uses a part of the humic fulvic type mineral extracts, the lignite extracts, and it uses it to help you do cell signaling to help heal the gut. So let's learn a little bit more about this, or this approach to helping the gut heal, because this is, as we found, is a big thing. So It's not a probiotic, but we're saying probiotics do have their place. They're especially they're a necessity after you've had a wipeout due to chemo or antibiotics. But Dr. Zach Bush has a little different feeling, and he feels that the positive effects plateau on probiotics after a few weeks, and if used long term, and you'll get a kick out of this, you can create a monoculture. We talk about that in agriculture where they just grow one crop.
Right.
Okay, he thinks we can create a monoculture by supplementing and not shifting around our probiotics, meaning that there could be an overpopulation of mostly the few strains that are available in today's probiotics.
Well, I like this product because it works very similar to what we did with the Primal Edge, using humic and fulvic acid to do the signaling, so these nutrients actually get where they're supposed to get.
You got it.
And so the Primal Edge is not the only thing out there, and we just wanted you to be aware there's a lot of good products out there, and this happens to be one of them. And I think you carry this, don't you?
I do. I do. So if anyone would like to, I think this might be nice to put this information in our next newsletter, because for many people who are really trying to recover a healthy gut, this may be another tool that can help that healing. Because as Dr. Zach Bush says, we should have over 20,000 probiotic species in our guts. I mean, we're actually a host to a lot more. We're more bugs than we are human cells. I've talked about that. Yeah. But many of these probiotics that are available today, they just don't have the diversity of species. So instead of adding bacteria via probiotics, this Restore product works on the communication network. Think about it as the World Wide Web, okay? That gives our body the tools to create the support.
Wi-Fi for your body.
Right. And it really helps your body create your own bacterial ecosystem. And because we know that our own body's ecosystem has been seriously compromised, as we've discussed today, by the environment, toxins such as antibiotics and pesticides. And we know that these bacteria in our body, they actually communicate. They talk to each other.
Yeah, and this is really about a communication. And we want our body, we want everything in our body communicating. It's kind of like the situation in the United States being very volatile right now because of the new administration, and nobody understands really what's going on. That's not the kind of situation we want in our body.
Well, that's a stress to our immune system.
Exactly. So we want our body to communicate with everything that's in there, and we want everything to say, yeah, I'm on board, I'm going to the right place.
Well, I like it what they say. This product can be like a liquid circuit board, and it can help create that diversity, which then lends itself to immunity. And we know 70% of our immune system's in the gut, and we're excited because we think gut health is right at the heart, of good, healthy living. Yeah. And we're going to look forward to continuing this conversation this week with Dr. George Springer from LifeWorks Wellness Center.
Looking forward to that.
And what else do we have to say?
That's pretty much it. Just really, your health has to do with your absorption of nutrients. Pretty common sense. So, eat the best stuff you can, and then start working on this end of it by saying to yourself, I'm going to investigate this myself and get to the bottom of why I'm not feeling good.
Get to the root of being healthy.
Thanks for sticking around, folks. We'll see you next time.
Take care.
Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
You're watching Tiger TV.